Thank you. I actually chose to live in Melbourne because it's a much better city than Sydney, so don't hold that against me. I was turning 30, so I was growing old, and I have a lot in common with all of you here tonight in that we're all actually growing old. Like it or lump it, that's what's happening. And my belief, in fact, my passionate belief, is that we should be able to grow old as disgracefully as we choose to. Whether that's buying a Harley or dyeing your hair purple or whatever it is that makes you feel young at heart, you should have the right to do it your way. This is me. Well, not really, thanks iStock, but I started my life off in technology, mainly in mobile in Finland and various places, and really was just working at using technology to make companies with lots of money even more money. Now, my friend said to me, hang on, how did you go from director of mobile at MTV to setting up this little company no one's heard of called Flaxworks, doing rock and roll to e-health? I'm not really sure how that works, what's going on here? Well, there we go. Keith Richards. You can probably see why I went to the aged care facility there. I think that Keith's up for his bus pass this year, and what I wanted to do was look at how technology, and in particular communication technology, can be used to help us grow old in a way that we choose. Looking at the older generation, a lot of us think of grandma as a bit frail, a bit dottery, maybe losing some of those marbles, and really, as much as we love her, not that much use in society anymore. However, cognitive decline is not necessarily a given in the aging process. Just because you're getting older doesn't mean you need to lose those marbles. There are many, many ways that we can stay young and fresh. And yes, I know genetics and the environment plays a big factor in it, but if we look to a lot of other countries where communication and society and community play a much bigger part in our age society, they tend to live happier, healthier, more fulfilled lives. And that's what I want to be when I grow up. That's me. And Alzheimer's, dementia, things like that are really pretty scary to talk about, They don't necessarily have to be a given in the aging process if we start to think of how to use that technology to make it a better system. Looking at our social media landscape, in fact our technology landscape, it's immense what we have created in the last 4, 5, 10, 25 years. The ways that we have to entertain ourselves, communicate with each other, have fun, or even just entertain ourselves on our own, are vast, immense. In fact, how many of you have an iPhone? I'm blinded by the hands, exactly as I thought, But when we start thinking about how we're applying some of that technology to the aged care sector, in fact, just even the healthcare sector, this is what we have. Waiting. For someone to visit, something to do, waiting. Just waiting. I think to myself, this shouldn't be happening. That 8,000 of our 200,000 residents in care are dying every year because of prescription failures. Now, I am not blaming the nurses or the doctors for this. The system that we have really isn't built to make that happen. Whereas when you look at the systems in our car, stock exchanges, track and trace software for couriers, all this kind of thing, it's so advanced. Yet when we think about how we're applying that sort of technology to look after our older people, it doesn't work. Jamie Hayward, you may know him, please go check out his TED talk about patients like me. It's just inspiring, it's fantastic. He has a great quote. He says, wouldn't it be great if the technology we use to look after our health was as good as the technology we use to look after our wealth? All of us, every single one of us here deserves to have the right to grow old as disgracefully as we want to. I'm having pillow fights the day I die, I tell you that. And, I'm not talking about massive cost of MRI machines or things like that. I'm talking about simple voice over IP technology, things like that in care homes and hospitals. If you have a bigger support network around you, or the ability to communicate with family no matter where they are, you can, your ability to rehabilitate and get healthier quicker works. Using the Wii, not only for prevention of falls and balance, but also just it's a bloody good laugh. If you've ever seen a grandparent use Wii, it's hilarious. They want to just beat the grandkids. It's fantastic. Anyway, so my theory and what I want to do in my life is look at how technology, particularly communication technology, can be used as a prevention and rehabilitation tool. We all know that the aging population is huge, and it's an issue we all have to think about. So if you're lucky enough to have a vintage member of your family still around, or, you know, you're all going to get there one day. I hope you'll join me in advocating that we all should have the technology to grow old as disgracefully as we want.